subject, man. Young Miami from City Girl said, man, Jeezy is one of the best rappers alive. And, I think that's an interesting statement because obviously she's younger. How old is Young Miami? She got to be under the age of 25. What
I
does
think
Jeezy
so.
mean to the current generation in your
I mean,
estimation?
he's probably iconic to them for the trap movement. He's probably him and Gucci are probably the you know looked at like in like a whole nother light now than we probably look at it because we were kind of down here and around it and kind of in an age where we seen it happen and looked at it differently.
Yeah.
So looking at it from the perspective of somebody, let's say 10, 15 years younger than us, yeah, they might have a whole nother take on what Jeezy brings to the table as an MC because it's like if you look at what he was indicted for early on, which wasn't being the best MC, like he did work on it and become a solid MC to me. Like, do you think Jeezy's a good MC, a dope MC? I think he made himself into a dope MC.
Yeah, yeah, he clearly got better over time. I mean, he says it himself, like he wasn't really a rapper like that. He understood that, being a rapper could get him to places that he wanted to go, and he
Right,
worked at it.
right.
Yeah,
Like a smart hustler does.
yeah. That's what I
Right.
will give Jeezy, and that's one of the things that I got from that Uncensored that he did on TV One. I think it was this past Sunday. Jeezy is a hustler, man, and it made me
Yeah, he's a
start thinking
hustler.
like when you talk about the great hustlers of Atlanta or the South, let's just say the South altogether. Jeezy's up there to me. I mean, obviously the first name that comes up is Master P, right? And I say Birdman's another name that comes up, but after that, I might go. I got to think about this, and I'm talking about people who
Jay
are
Prince.
artists. I'm thinking I was gonna say Jay Prince, but I'm
Oh,
talking about people who are artists
oh,
too, right?
okay,
You know what I'm saying?
okay,
Who are in the forefront. So
right,
because if we go background people, we could really start digging. But
right.
people who are in the forefront, I'm gonna say Master P, Birdman, and then I'm starting to think, man, I might go Jeezy. But you know who's a real underrated hustler in Atlanta and the South period? I think Ludacris, man. Ludacris has played his career perfectly on every level, business wise.
I'm going to agree with you on a lot of levels to that, but because of where Jeezy comes from, the sentiment of that resonates differently than it is going to from a Luda. And I'm going to kind of go behind the scenes right quick to what we were talking about yesterday when I called you, which is that like, and I don't know who said it, but it's very, very true. And this is what I mean about her perspective. Young Miami's perspective might be different. It's like the thing now is for rappers to come in the game looking the way Jeezy looked when he came in the game, Mike. Like I told you, he did an interview a long time ago, like with Double XL, I think, where he was talking about he's sitting in LA Reid office before any contracts or deals are done with the whole Rolex Rose Gold set on. And LA Reid is like, whatever you're doing, stop. Like, I got you. So it resonates differently when somebody like that was doing what he was doing and getting the money like that like transitions it resonates with people harder than somebody who was a radio personality. It's gonna hit different because hip hop
Huh.
is
Is
still
that is
because
that a
hip hop
good thing though?
because I didn't say it.
Yeah.
You, I'm not saying it's necessarily a good thing, but we're gonna go back to where hip hop was created, which was in the streets and not a radio station. And that's what I mean about what Jeezy did as a hustler resonates different than Luda's hustle, because Luda's hustle, even though you can say it's just as strong, it comes off more corporate America driven than Jeezy's hustle. And
But
that's not to
but
knock
it's
that.
not.
Hold
But
on,
yeah,
Mike,
I
Mike,
feel
let me
you.
finish.
Go
Let me
ahead. Go
finish.
ahead.
No, let me finish because it's important. And that's not to knock it and to say that there's anything wrong with the path that Luda took. There's nothing wrong with it. There need to be more people taking that path, but Jeezy shit hit different, Mike.
I think what it is, and we're talking styles, right? In a sense. I always hear people talk about
We're talking origins too. We're
No, no,
talking
no, no,
origins
no, no.
too.
That's not what I mean. I was gonna go to like a basketball correlation, right? You hear people talk about Steph Curry's impact on the game, right? I think a big part of Steph Curry's impact is the fact that look, nigga, I'm not 6'8", you know what I'm saying, 250, huge, you know what I mean? Like what I'm doing, the average person for the most part with a lot of work can do. And I think that Luda's story gives a little bit more credence to that. Like where it's like, okay, I went to Georgia State, boom. I interned at a radio station. Boom. I took this path and made this independent album. At this time, use my leverage at the radio station, use my relationships to get things here. Boom, boom, boom. And it's like, it's kind of a little bit more tangible for a lot of people other than going out there playing a whole nother game, right?
So, but okay. So here's what I'm saying. Even with what happened with Jeezy, so like the backstory on that. So let's go to Jeezy's backstory. Jeezy never planned to be a rapper. Jeezy was supposed to be the money man behind the scenes of two artists. One got locked up, if I'm not mistaken. The other one
One
got
died,
murdered
yeah.
or died.
Or
Yeah,
yeah, it got no, it got murdered. You were right.
no. Okay,
Yeah,
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 because
yeah.
he right. And so Jeezy had already invested his money into this.
Mm-hmm. Had a
He's
studio and
a
was like, well, somebody got to come in there and do something.
he's a hustler, Mike. He had already put his money up.
You know who his
And
story
so,
sounds like? And when you said it like that, sounds like Easy E.
Mike, very much like Easy E. And what he did is he walked in the booth and he started literally putting his mouth where his money was.
Yeah, I got to give you that. Jeezy's a huge hustler, man, and I got to give
What,
him credit
hold
for
on,
that.
Mike, what street dudes you know walking in the LA Reid office with a rose gold set that's even about to try to get behind the mic and make that move? That's a hustler, Mike.
So you think
That's a
you would
motherfucking hustler.
put him after Birdman? So it sounds like you got Jeezy ranked very high on the hustler list.
I
Everybody's
mean,
mentioning Rick Ross too. What do you think
if we
about that?
if we talking hustler list, I mean Master P is number one
Right.
down here, and that shouldn't be questioned. As far as an artist too, so that because that would take Jay Prince out of this conversation, because I would have the conversation about Jay Prince and Master P just from
Right.
that level specifically. But if we're talking about artists as well, I would put uh Jeezy and Ross ahead of Birdman and behind Master P actually.
Okay. And I'm pretty sure I know your reasoning for the Birdman thing.
Go listen to Idols Become Rivals, Mike, by Rick
Yeah.
Ross.
Yeah. But I mean, there's stories about Birdman, having a
What
million
I'm saying
dollars
is,
at
okay,
14 years
so
old.
yes, let's go ahead and diametric. So when you put Birdman right next to Master P, that's not fair to Master P, and I'm going to tell you why. Because
Go for
Master
it.
P is somebody who literally it was known if you were signed to the No Limit camp, you had to take accounting and financial literacy classes. Master P wasn't just signing people, he was trying to empower
No, he
people and make
definitely
them
was.
financially responsible and solvent to
Hmm.
not need him and to not need to sign to any label, even if the label was his. That's different. Birdman did not do that, therefore does not deserve to stand next to him, because there's actually been a lot of the opposite of that.
So you would feel the same way even if Diddy or somebody like that was in the discussion, because it doesn't seem
I
like
always say that.
there aren't really a lot of artists that have like great stories when it comes to their work dealings with Diddy. But you hear nothing but great stories when it comes to Master P. Like,
Mike, if you want to be great and be hot for 5 years, there's a lot of guys you can sign to. If you want to have your shit together for 25 years, you sign to Master P.
I agree with that. It's more about doing business with that mogul as opposed to continuously being under that mogul.
Right.
What do you think about
Want to own your publishing?
yeah,
Want to
yeah.
know what these white people are talking about in these business rooms so you can go in there and negotiate your deals properly, even if it's not hip hop related?
Why do you
Master P.
think that No Limit didn't?
Sign to Master P.
Why do you think No Limit didn't continue on the path that they were going as far as like being the hottest label in the industry? Because they had the talent, right? What do you think that I guess the quote unquote falling off of No Limit comes from or started from?
More of a fan of Cash Money's music. Think Cash Money has better top tier artists outside of Mystical in the brief time with Snoop.
Okay, you think it was more so the Cash Money splash?
I mean, it wasn't just the Cash Money splash. I'm just speaking about the talent level, and then I'm going to speak to the oversaturation of the product, because I think it could have been spaced out better, but I understood business wise what he was doing and what he was trying to show. And also, too, this is the hustler in him. He's looking at it like, well, tomorrow's not promised. So we dropping everything with, you know what I mean? That's that hustler's
Right.
ambitious and mentality. And sometimes it can bite you back and hurt you. They could have extended their run by scaling back projects. But who knows like how that could have gone. Cash Money a little bit had something to do with that because like Juvenile, oh that's a star. Wayne, that's a star. BG was a star.
Yeah.
Like they had stars to compete with them. Manny Fresh at the time, I think, came with a sound that they felt was more indicative of New Orleans with the bounce.
I agree with that. Yeah, and you could tell that there was a Cali influence on Master P and his sound, especially when Beats by the
They got his
Pound.
hustle from the Bay, Mike.
Yeah,
Got his
yeah.
hustle from the Bay.
When Beats by the Pound kind of went their own way, and Master P had to go regroup and find more production, it was more of a Cali sound more so than the bounce. And like you said, Cash
Man,
Money came with the authentic bounce sound at that
you
time,
talk,
and yeah.
you talking about a dude with a publishing deal that would piss Michael Jackson and Prince off, Mike. That's how
Yeah,
much
man.
money P was
And the
getting.
machine was not going to continue to,
Like the
help
money,
that.
like Michael Jackson's like contract was like the highest cents on the dollar contract ever. Like Master P shit, like tripled that. Like,
I know Master P was trying to match that, but I don't know, man. Michael was
nah, he was
setting
getting
all
85
kind of
cent on the
deals.
dollar at one point. I heard Mike
I don't know the top that Michael got, but it was pretty high. Cause I think,
85 cent
yeah,
on the dollar. He was getting 85 cent on the
I don't
dollar.
know if it was that. I'll go back and do
Mike,
my
I think it was
research.
more like 36 to 43 cent on the dollar. I don't know if it Mike P was getting 85 cent on the dollar. Mike, I'm pretty
Yeah,
certain.
we'll
Shit
see. Cause
crazy.
I
Like, yeah, I
know
can sell
that
these 200,000 records. Gonna make a couple $1 million.
it's
I'm gonna do
incredible,
that
man.
every week. I'm
Well,
gonna do
what
that
I will
every
say
week.
about Luda too, not to totally go off of that, but yeah, I think Luda's hustle has continued to film, even him being a part of the Fast and Furious franchise. He's had an incredible career, and and outside of just the music alone, and you look at each step that Ludacris has taken in his career, I think his timing has been perfect.
So
I don't think there's anybody whose timing has been more perfect than Luda. Because I feel like if Luda would have done what he did 2 years earlier or after, it might not have worked the same.
Mike, I don't agree. I was actually saying, like his role and his placement and how he did it is so unique in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
And I think it actually would have been more acceptable in terms of how it would have been revered a couple of years later, actually. So I don't totally agree. Maybe a couple of years before, not so much. But I think a couple of years later, this route and this path would have been more revered. I think Kanye's influence has something to do with that too, because Kanye kind of normalized the normal guy being on top in hip hop.
I don't
Like
think
that is
What's Your
the impact
Fantasy would
Kanye's
have
had.
worked after 50 Cent dropped Get Rich or Die Trying. I just don't.
That's a valid point. I can
I
I
just
can, I
don't
can see
think
why you
after the
feel that way.
college dropout, I don't think that Southern Hospitality and What's Your Fantasy would have worked the same way. I just don't. And we're talking
No, but
that's 2003 when you're talking about Get Rich or Die Trying. Maybe if we're
right.
talking about the 2001 2 window, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A
But
couple years after, like a couple of years, I think it could have been like taken a little bit differently. That because that was kind of like a shift. Things were shifting right then.
hip hop was kind of looking for the next in
Right, it was shifting.
2002. Yeah.
Yeah,
98, I don't think that would have worked in that way.
that wouldn't have worked in '98.
No. But yeah, saying all that to say, I think his timing was perfect. He got in during a time where, and see, this is why I say 2000 was perfect for him. He got in during a time where people were really still buying albums and CDs heavy too. A couple years after that, that wouldn't have been the same.
Right.
But yeah, we could go on and on with this, man. I'm looking forward to Friday, so we could talk about this Jay-Z, Jadakiss, and Conway the Machine record. Off the top, I don't know what else is coming out this Friday, but
You never really said how you felt about Jeezy. You got him at third. That's
I think I got
third.
Jeezy at third. When
Okay.
you talk about hustlers, man, I agree with you on the Birdman thing, but the fact that Birdman's been continuously able to sustain in this game is remarkable to me. Like the fact that NBA Young Boy goes to him, the fact that Young Thug goes to him, and all of these guys somehow going to him at all these different ages, like NLE Chopper, like he continues to get young talent.
No, you're right.
And at this
So
point, and I know the whole Nicki and Drake thing is on the back of Wayne, and Wayne was the hottest in the world. That's why he was able to get those talents. But at this
right.
point, I don't even know how he's even able to, get these. He's hustling, man. I got to give it to him, and he's
No, no,
one of
no.
those people that a lot of folks have, a lot of the moguls or his mogul peers. You got Diddy, who's more invested in Revolt these days, or Ciroc or whatever. Jay's doing stuff outside of music as well. Dr. Dre is more about his headphones.
so Mike,
Birdman's been about the artist the whole time. Yeah, I
so
got to give
Mike,
him that.
so Mike, we're gonna quote the big timers. It's a get it how you live situation. Everybody's in different places doing their thing. So he's been more with the artist, but
Yeah.
there's been issues there with that, is what I'm saying. And
Oh
so
yeah,
all
I
those
agree with you.
And so let's talk about Ross right quick. Like part of what I love about Ross's hustle is because, oh no, he didn't buy Holyfield's old estate to show off. It's an investment in a business venture. How many times has he rented that thing out for movie sets? I got so many people. I'm down at Ross' crib doing such and such on the
Yeah.
movie set. So he's making money off of his investment.
You know
You know,
what?
like
You know
literally
what? If
while he's sitting, because that the estate is large enough that they literally can film like in the front of the house or a wing of the house, and he can still be in there chilling, or he can be recorded. You get what I'm saying? And
you know
so
what? Let me
like his
rework my
hustle is strong,
list.
and that's independent of the fact that he did sign Wale and Meek Mill, and they have been major artists for their era. You know,
I'm gonna rework my list real quick before we go. I think
that's why I got Ross and Jeezy ahead
I
of
might
Birdman,
have
because
Ross ahead of Birdman. I'll put Ross
look
ahead
at
of
what
Birdman.
Ross doing, man. Yeah, Ross
I'll
can
put
chill at the
Ross. I'll put
crib.
Ross after Pete. Um, yeah, I'll
You
put
can
Ross
if you
ahead of
wanted to.
Birdman, and then I'm going Birdman. I might go Luda then Jeezy. And the only reason why I got Jeezy behind Luda is the fact that we don't really know. I mean, I know Jeezy got stuff popping now, but it's like Luda has all kind of working
He's always Mike.
businesses. And the thing is too, like Luda holds down a restaurant. He holds down a whole bunch of businesses that no one really talks about. And we've seen, especially in Atlanta, we've seen prominent artists have restaurants and lose them, have whatever, whatever. Um, and if we want to talk about artist relationships, Jeezy missed out on Freddie Gibbs. I gotta say, um, if we're gonna be fair, and Freddie
Jeezy used
Gibbs
to
is one of the
say,
hottest in
"Boy,
the
you
game.
want rapping ass
Yeah.
nigga."
So even though Luda missed out on 2 Chainz, he still capitalized on the Chingy thing, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like those two are closer than we think.
You want to know what, Mike? I give it to you. So, like for me, I guess based on the things that we've discussed, I think it's still P clearly number one. I'll go Ross, Luda, Jeezy, then Birdman. I'll go in that order.
Okay.
I'll run it like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see totally what you're saying about Luda, and you want to know what Luda did that Jeezy didn't did. Luda was always in the process of hustling something or moving to a next venture or making a move
Exactly.
consistently, and
That's
he
the
was.
one thing that I think we don't really realize about Luda. He's always thinking that next step. You know what I'm saying? And that
Hey,
Fast and Furious, he had that in his head way before time,
Luda and
and he was
Jeezy
able
do
to execute
community
on it.
work. They do community work.
Yeah,
A lot of the
Luda
stuff that
Luda
they
has
do for the
played
community.
Luda has played his career better than many have
Most,
ever.
no, most,
Yeah,
most. Like he'd be like
and
in the 90th percentile in terms of
yeah,
how you should handle your career.
and he
Yeah.
does it very quietly too. I will give him that. He
Well,
doesn't
that's the
have to
part about
have
it that's
the
really.
Jay Z hoopla with it either.
Well, that's part of what's so good about it and why he's been able to diversify so well is that he's been a headliner without being in the headlines for the wrong reason, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I think
That's
that's
good.
incredible. All right,
Like,
man.
look, don't we laud people like Kevin Durant and LeBron James for stuff like that?
You're right.
They're
Well,
great at
let's
what they do
let's
and they
wrap up
stay
this
out.
show. Let's wrap up this show and everything that we covered, right? So it looks like LL smashes Busta Rhymes in the verses. Looks like LL would probably beat KRS-One in the verses, but that would be a more competitive verses. And it looks like LL has probably more iconic individual records than even somebody like a Jay-Z. But we don't know how
No,
that will play out.
no, Mike, it's not kinda. We just got through about 9 like iconic LL records. Jay doesn't have 9 iconic singles.
Right. And
No,
yeah.
got 9 great singles.
You
Might have
know,
9 classic singles.
this is a point I meant to make too
Not
earlier.
iconic.
When I realized that Jeezy meant something different to a next generation was on Good Kid, Mad City when they said that in that skit, and
Me
everything.
too.
And I
I'm
was
like,
like,
y'all
wow.
bumping Jeezy? Niggas in Compton bumping Jeezy?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, he means something different to this generation. And, for years on According to Hip Hop, people would say that Jeezy was better than Ross. I think that tide is changing, but that just shows you how much people fuck with Jeezy. Like, you know what
No,
I'm saying?
Mike,
Like,
I was one of those people, and Ross turned me over too. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, Ross had to do it over the years, but with Jeezy's instant impact, the love that Jeezy got was instant and it was strong too. I mean, we were here. You know what it
Mike, he
is.
had
Yeah.
the streets. I was moving to Cali like when all his stuff started popping. It was crazy. I told you, Mike, I couldn't go anywhere. I told you, Mike, y'all, this for the audience. I was telling Mike yesterday about a day that I was with my brothers, and I already had one of the Jeezy mixtapes, and 2 dudes at 2 separate points of the day tried to sell me the same damn mixtape. We was already riding to it. Was serious.
Well, you didn't even see, and you said that to me the other day before I watched the Uncensored on TV One. Jeezy said he feels like they gave out 200 to 300,000 copies of Trap or Die. And this is in an era where everybody was selling their stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody was selling CDs, or if you're gonna do it out the trunk or you do it independent, you're selling it. It wasn't really like you download my shit, whatever, whatever. He was giving whole mixtapes away, and he said he gave away about 300,000. So yeah, I could see how you saw him all over the place.
I've been a lot of places, Mike. I've seen a lot of things. I never seen nothing like Jeezy's movement down here.
I think
Shit
Jeezy's
was
movement
different.
down here was one of the best I've ever seen too.
Never
know
seen
what?
no shit like that.
I'm trying to think of anything that matches it. Yeah, Jeezy's buzz in Atlanta.
It was.
The only
It was.
thing that I could correlate to it was, when 50 Cent dropped Get Rich or Die Trying. Like,
Mike,
that 50 Cent buzz was crazy.
Mike, I was hearing stuff a year later in Cali that I had been heard in the A.
Yeah.
Like I was gone.
I think 50 Cent's buzz the biggest buzz I've ever seen. But as far as buzz in the city of Atlanta, yeah. I'm gonna give it to Jeezy. I think T.I.'s...
we weren't in New York for 50's buzz though.
No, I'm just talking about the buzz nationwide. I'm talking about after,
the nationwide.
the rollout.
No, Mike, that's the machine coming together though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeezy's was more organic. That was really the streets like, nah, that's our dude.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, we're gonna talk Friday, man. Y'all join us Friday. You want to do an earlier show Friday? What we looking like Friday? Like 3 or 5?
Yeah, we can work it out.
We'll work it out. We'll keep y'all posted. We'll let you know. I was just doing this for the audience. But yeah, make sure y'all subscribe to the According to Hip Hop channel and get the click the bell icon, so you'll know when we're going live. But yeah, we'll probably do like a midday show on Friday. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to hearing this record. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's not too often we see singles drop that we actually like. Like, ooh.
Yeah, okay. Man. Hopefully Jay-Z brings it.